Hello and welcome back to the channel. You might have guessed that I'm not in the sunny south of France, but I am back in England celebrating Christmas with Claire and her lovely mum. So here it is. Bought it from Copart. It was delivered last night in the dark, so I couldn't really do anything, just left it in the garage. So it's a Cat N with front end damage, and there's precious little of it. Obviously the mudguard has gone, and these little pieces of masking tape indicate where someone, the insurance assessor I suppose, thinks there's damage. So there doesn't appear to be any problem with these forks. These guards are on the wrong way round, and there are some marks here from the oil seal. So what I am going to do is strip the forks out and just make sure that they are straight. As for the rest of the bike, well, it's hard to find anything really. The headlight is marked up as damaged and I can't find anything. The indicator is marked up as damaged and it's maybe loose. That's it. Coming round to this side, the tank is marked up here and here. Can't find any damage. There's a stone chip there and a stone chip there. That's all I can find. And then as for the rest of the bike, we have a small scuff on the mirror, a small scuff on this hand protector, another one on this crash bung. So at some stage the bike has gone down. Nothing on the gear lever, nothing on the foot pegs. Tell a lie, tiny mark on the foot peg. Coming to the back, nothing here. A tiniest scuff on there. Crash bungs have really done their job. Nothing on the indicator or the grab rail. And as for this side, there wasn't anything indicated and I can't find anything. So again, nothing down here, nothing here, nothing on the exhaust, nothing on this crash bung, nothing on these protectors. And again, the fork is just marked up and this is the wrong way round. So my guess is, oh yeah, there's just a mark there. Is there a mark there? Can you see anything there? No. Perhaps it's the tyre. No, there's nothing. So my guess is that they've either gone into the back of something or somebody's pulled out in front of them. It's just taken off the front mudguard and the bike has literally laid down, stationary. They've probably lost their balance and it's just laid down, and the protectors have done their job in protecting the bike. Delighted with it, absolutely delighted. To be honest, I was hoping there'd be a bit more work to do, but anyway, I'm going to get the forks off, get them checked, and I'll get back to you. 1788 miles. I've been round, checked all the electrics, all the lights, everything works. Making steady progress. Fork tubes have got to come out, so what I'm doing before the front wheel's completely lifted off the ground, just cracking all of the bolts and the spindle, calipers, everything, just so that when the bike is properly in the air, they're easy to undo. Tie the brake calipers back over the radiator, take the weight off the pipes, and then we'll take the forks out and see what we've got. So making progress, got the front wheel out, brake calipers are tied back out of the way, ABS sensor tied back out of the way. Haven't noticed anything, no springing back into place of anything, so I think the next thing to do is try and undo the nuts or the Allen keys in the bottom of the forks that go up and hold part of the suspension in. If I can just crack those and then pull the whole leg out and then work on the workbench. Here are the fork legs out on the workbench, and I can find absolutely nothing wrong with them. There's no bend in them, they're perfectly straight. There's no chafing marks from the guides inside the bottom fork leg. There's no leaks, there's no blemishes. They're absolutely perfect. So I'm going to get them back on the bike. So looking at the headstock, there's no damage to the frame, there's no wrinkles in the paintwork to show that there's been a bend there. Looking at the yokes, they look absolutely fine. The bump stops there are in good condition, there's no cracking, they're not even marked. The paint hasn't even come off them. You know how sometimes if you see an bike in an accident and it's had a violent turn to one side, it can crack those little bump stops off. So that's all in perfect working condition, straight out the factory. Handlebars are square, no problem with the top yoke. So looking at the bike and the damage, I honestly can't see why this bike has been written off. The forks are straight, the yokes, the headstock are all straight. There's some very minor cosmetic blemishes. Claire and I were talking about it overnight, and we think that this thing's either just fallen off its stand or has been dropped. Someone's lost their balance and just dropped it onto its side while stationary, because there's nothing wrong with it. So I did a vehicle history check on the bike today, and interestingly it was registered in March 22 to its first owner. The bike was then sold on in July 23 was the V5 date issue, and the bike was written off on the 20th of July 23. So whoever had it for 3 weeks. Whether they fell off it and lost their confidence, I don't know, but that's the history of the bike so far, and it's such a shame that it's been categorised as an insurance write-off for absolutely no apparent reason. So fork legs are back in, quite straightforward. I used two £2 coins stacked on top of each other as a measure for how much the forks protrude through the top yoke. Getting the wheel in was a bit difficult, so I asked Claire to go and help me. Got the spindle through, it was just getting enough pressure and the wheel correctly lined up to catch the thread for it to screw into position. Took a few attempts, but we got there in the end between us. And now working on the brakes, putting each brake caliper on in turn, being careful to route the pipes correctly, and putting the ABS sensor on, making sure that the bolts are nicely tightened down, and I'll redo that once the bike's off the stand. And right on cue, the delivery driver arrives with a new front mudguard and other bits for the bike. Brand new front mudguard, not brand new second hand, it's brand new. And unfortunately a bag of bits are surplus to requirements, because I put the order in thinking that the forks needed a rebuild. So there's fork seals, pinch bolts, top O-rings, about 60 quid worth of stuff that I don't need. And the big O-ring there is for the fuel pump, because I thought that the fuel tank was damaged and I'd have to send it off for repair. Let's get these bits on. So, fitting the new mudguard. Keep your old nuts and bolts because you don't get new ones with the new front mudguard. It wouldn't fit in going in through the front, it has to come in through the back because it's slightly narrower at the front, and I took courage in my hands and just squeezed it gently to get it to go between the forks and into position. I didn't fancy taking off that front wheel again. There we go, back together. Far too cold to do this in the garage, so I've come inside, nice cup of tea. Right, let me tell you how much this cost. You would have seen from the Copart part of the video that the bike cost me £3,100. Copart fees, which included £158 plus VAT for delivery, came to £728. Parts came to £237. That was for the front mud guard, a second key. What else did I get? Yeah, big mistake. I got a bit impatient waiting for the delivery, and I was so convinced that the forks needed a rebuild. I brought a complete rebuild kit for the fork, so O-rings, oil seals, pinch bolts. I didn't need any of it. So that's probably 60 quid I overspent on there. Then tools, another 45 quid on tools. I thought I brought everything that I needed, and of course I didn't, and I needed things like a spindle key and all that kind of stuff. So I had to go and buy those locally. What else was there? Oh yeah, logbook cost. So I had to send away for a new V5, that's £25. So the V5 is going to come back in my name. So looking at the total, £4,135. I don't think that's too bad for a Z650RS. It's got less than 2,000 miles on the clock. It's a shame it's been categorised. I mean, why it was categorised is beyond me. I really don't know, but there you are, that's where we are. If anybody is interested in buying the bike in the UK, I'm happy to sell it at 4,500. I think that's probably 1,300 quid cheaper than anything else I've seen on Bike Trader or eBay. Yes, it's a Cat N, but with the small bit of profit that I make on the bike, that's going to go straight back into the channel, because I'm going to be looking for the next project bike. Now, whether it will be from Copart or whether it be something old and interesting, two-stroke, yeah, that's what I really want. We'll have to wait and see. It just depends on what becomes available. Last thing that I want to say to you all is thank you so much for subscribing. Please like and comment, it really helps the algorithm. I hope you enjoyed this Kawasaki rebuild, and I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Take care.